If you are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact and more revenue in your business, tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers that convert consistently. We'll see you all on the inside. One of the things I say to my clients most often when I check in on them is, how are you doing with the wobble? Because the truth is, as business owners, we all wobble. Sometimes we feel in control of the wobble, and other times we are controlled by the wobble. But what happens if the wobble lasts longer than just a couple of days? I want to talk to you about the wobble today on Amplify Your Marketing Message and bring to you strategies of what to do if you have fallen out of love with your business or into a funk where you feel controlled and wobbly as a business owner. And this is something you will find most business mentors or coaches are not talking about. They're telling you that life is rosy, there is one way to build your business, and that nobody ever gets stuck. It's just this massive escalation line. And I call BS. You will not get that here on this episode, and you won't get that if you're part of my inner circle, you're a past, current client, or you're someone who's been following here on this podcast. Because I will tell you, in every journey of success, the line only looks straight when you are in the rearview mirror looking at 50,000 feet. In the day-to-day, it looks like this. And so all of us wobble. And so let's bring it out into the light today. What do you do if you feel like you have lost your passion for your business, or you feel like the funk of tough sales have had you questioning, do we keep going? I hope you do keep going, because this moment doesn't last, even though in the wobble it can feel an extraordinarily long period of time. Well, here's the first tip of the puzzle. The first thing is to recognize, what do you dream of as a business owner? What do you want to see changed in the world? What do you do that's inspiring for you and for others? What do you feel rewarded by? And I had a recent conversation with one of my clients who is going through some growing pains. And I had her go back to the first exercise she did with me when she became a client, which was about vision casting. And actually, it's in a book that I wrote called Heal, You Have the Power. And it's the 10 questions I ask myself, and I have clients ask me as they're being onboarded into their coaching programs, because I want to know what lights you up. Because your business should feel like oxygen for you. And if it doesn't, that means the wobble is controlling you and a course correction is needed, because you are the engine for your business. And it's okay to have fuel sources, but like any good stewardess is going to tell you, if we're in trouble and in a wobble, in a period of turbulence, put your oxygen mask on first. So step number one is to go back to your dreams, to spend time playing, thinking about what lifts you, what feels like oxygen. And here is also part of that. What do you feel rewarded by? Because just because you can do something doesn't mean you need to. This is 100% your choice when you are creating a business around something you want. And this is also freedom to play. Somebody else I met in a networking space in South Africa recently said to me, I know I could go back and recreate what I had before after I had a business that was highly successful, but a partnership went south and it feels heavy. And I just said to her, what if you didn't? Novel thought, but what if you didn't? What if you didn't do that because you could, but you found something else because it felt like oxygen? And in that moment, she said, I think I need to hire you. I said, let's go find the oxygen and light the fire that is still burning in a period of turbulence. But you've got to get clear. And that means taking time to know what you want, why you want it, why it inspires you, and what you'll be rewarded by. Because it's you who's lighting your own fire. So that's step number one. Step number 2 is to recognize that movement is everything. And if you've been a fan of the podcast for any length of time, you will know that my methodology is about focusing on movement, action, because all movement, when stacked together, is what is created the momentum that you're experiencing it. And so chances are, if you've gotten into this funk, you've started to have gaps between movement, gaps between action. And yeah, that gap means that you're feeling like, wow, there's nothing happening. There probably is if I took you back to 50,000 feet, but you're in a crisis of the wobble and all you see is the immediate. So I want you to go back to recommit. Building a business is not ever going to be convenient. You're in the wrong lineup, my friend. This is not a 9-to-5 job. You're not an employee, even though you might be getting a salary from your business. I hope you are getting paid from your business. But you get to commit to the actions. And what that means is show up for yourself and follow through. Whenever people fear taking risks in business, I tell them this one truth. It's not risk you're worried about, because risk is an inherent partnership of being a business owner. When you are afraid to take a risk, it means that you don't trust yourself to solve the risk, to solve the wobble. And what that means is you don't trust yourself to do what? To have discipline and to follow through. And so if you could do nothing but say, I'm going to do one thing today, one thing every day, non-negotiably, trust me, the momentum starts to come back online, and that life support and that shock to your system starts to spur creativity. And I know this from personal experience beyond just what I work with my clients on, because I built my first business with a discipline of 1 hour a day. You may not be in that same space, but I will tell you, it's as simple as do one thing. Elegantly simple. So what can you do non-negotiably that says, I can love it, I can hate it, I don't care, I simply show up. Never miss the one action that you can commit to every day, because it is what will compound. It is the lifeline and the lifeblood of your activity, because it's how you create momentum. And you've also know, if you're a science geek, that an object in motion stays in motion more easily than an object started from zero. One of the reasons we get in a funk, one of the reasons we fall out of love with the vision is because we stop taking the actions that created the movement. And I say to people all the time, inaction is not catching. It doesn't get caught hanging out in my environment. It doesn't get caught when I'm your mentor, because I have the discipline to follow through as a non-negotiable. And this is my invitation to you. So that's number 2, is to take action. Number 3 is to recognize that you are human. Woohoo! Welcome to the human race. And that means you will feel fear, and you can choose how to respond to it. All of your emotions are equally valid. What they are is a data set. So I want you to get outside your comfort zone and ride the damn emotional roller coaster and recognize that everything is in transition. How do you curate the emotions of winning? How do you curate the momentums of accomplishment? How do you curate low risk taking? The answer is clear. You bet on yourself 100% of the time, and you take more shots and get back into action. So I want you to feel the emotions and recognize the humanness in your journey. It's 100% okay to wobble. I tell my clients that, and I'm telling you that as a gift. You can get controlled by the wobble, or you can feel in control of the wobble. The key difference is when you feel in control of the wobble, it's because you're letting the emotions roll. All of them. You're not stifling them. You're not judging them. You're recognizing you're human and saying, I can control this emotion because I know it's temporary. But emotions are bad decision makers. Don't let them lead the decision path. Step number 4 is you have got to commit to being here. Okay, you have people that are looking at you, and you have to be dependable. What that means is having resiliency, focusing on the long term, and saying, no matter what, I'm not quitting the field. My dented today, yes. Am I wobbly today? Yes. But you know what? This vision pulls me past convenience. The action is non-negotiable. The emotions are all data sets, and I will be here. And if you're in a place where you do not have that kind of vibrant energy, you need to change rooms. I am in a community right now called Wired to Win. I am training with two elite performance individuals, one on the world of business and one on the world of athletics. And it is about being persistent, tenacity, and saying clearly, I am legendary. And I'm legendary through my actions. I'm legendary through the commitment to excellence, because I know that every rep I put in builds momentum to get me where I want to go. I don't have any doubt that I'll be in business in a year, even when I wobble. If you're wobbly and you don't have that same bet, you cannot run the ship yourself. My best advice is come have a conversation with me. ChristineCampbellRapin.com. Let's square this away and get you back on track, because certainty is what builds your business. And right now in your wobble, you're certain, but you're floundering. I want you certain you'll survive. And so that's number 4. Number 5 is to celebrate the progress. And I mean the progress as seen in your eyes. One of the biggest reasons we as business owners wobble is because we can't downshift around the expectations that we hold and that maybe our network holds of us. But I will tell you, in some days when I have been kicked to the curb, and trust me, I've had some rather epic kicks to the curb in my time, sometimes celebrating progress to mean when I got out of bed, I got showered, and I left the house today. And other days you think, seriously? You don't get a gold medal for that. Yes, that day I did, because I was coming out of a wobble that was spinning so fast I could not see horizon. And chances are you can relate to that, but we're not talking about that. But celebrations are about your milestones in where you are starting from. And so, yeah, there are big targets that you might be having, and some of the targets might be, I spent some time with my vision. I did the one step. I wrote all the emotions of the day. I didn't quit the table. And for me, that is worthy of celebrating. And it's interesting, especially if there's solopreneurs that you are and you're listening to today's episode, because we should have, and I tell my clients this because I do this in my own business, you should have a line item for celebrations. If you are running staff and you're a team-driven organization, you have budgets for lunches, you have budgets for bonuses, you have budgets for team training. You should have a budget for yourself. What are you working towards? Are you clear what the milestone is for you that's non-judgmental about what the outside thinks? And I want you to do the happy dance whenever you accomplish something. And in recent days, this has become very clear in my own business, because I am running to a big milestone, super excited about it. And yet I'm at the stage where the wobble's really high because I'm like, wow, did I bite off more than I can chew? And all I can do is keep biting one piece at a time, the elephant that is before me. But I know when I'm celebrating, I've got the bottle of bubbles on my desk right past my viewpoint. So I remind myself the date and the time when I will be celebrating accomplishing the goal, because that's what mattered to me. And I have a visual cue that says, scrap waiting for it to be convenient, Christine. Wake up and do the work. So I want to recap this, because we don't talk an awful lot about what it's like to wobble. But I will tell you, I see you, because I am you. I wobble too. And when I wobble, I always ask myself, am I going to let the wobble control me, or am I in control of the wobble? I do not always get the latter in the answer, truthfully, but I also choose intentionally. And I choose intentionally these 5 areas to focus on. I get back whenever I'm wobbling to the vision. What do I want to change? What do I want to be inspired by? What do I want to be rewarded by? I commit to one step, staying in movement, because I know that the movement's what's building momentum. And even if I can't see it and it's not going as fast as I want, I do not quit. I can slow the gears as needed and I can accelerate the gears as needed, but I stay in the momentum. And I let all things ride emotionally. They are data sets. What am I feeling? What does that mean? Get out of your comfort zone. You will not get better by doing the imaginary. You get better by doing the practice laps. That's what the peak performance team is really in my head around. And it's lighting me up. So light up with me, because you have to have the tenacity to say, I will stick through the wobble. I will be persistent, resilient, capable, and committed to the vision. And tough days will come and they will go, and they are not the measure of me because I am legendary. And the final thing is that we celebrate the humanness of our journey. We celebrate what to us feels like milestones, not what the outside world tells us to be celebrating. Yes, we're in business. We want profit. We want revenue. It goes without saying, let's stay the lights on and be here tomorrow. But also the things that you took risks on, the things that you said, I was scared, but I bet on myself. You can add fuel to your fire, but you have to be the one to light it up. So when you're lost and when you wobble, I want you to save this episode. I want you to come back to it because the intentions, the attitude, and your tools of success will help you survive anything. And truthfully, you have what it takes by simply being human. Come as you are, sit at my table, and when you need somebody to help you with the fact that the reason you're wobbly is because you don't trust yourself to do this, you don't follow through on the discipline, then recognize the gap. That's what being in community with other awesome peers is all about. That's what mentorship is all about. I will hold the wobble when you are worried. I will hold the vision when you are accelerating, and I will remind you to take time to smell the roses and to remember that the best gift of entrepreneurship is that this is oxygen to your soul. You chose this. Let it light you up. Come connect to me, ChristineCampbellRapin.com. I will see you on the inside. That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit ChristineCampbellRapin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all on our next episode.